Oh, look at the grouse. Stupid zombie. I was only kidding. Jeez, are you touchy? Holy whorehounds of the Baskervilles. Good greetings, all you treaters and tricksters. Anyway, I got a bunch of, I got a late start on this video. Wow. Had a pretty busy Halloween around here and a little bit of rain too. But I'm going to go right into showing you some of the comic books where I left off last year. I left off with the V, at the V. V for Virginia. And I'm going to show you a very scarce comic, Voodoo Annual #1. It's from 1952. And this has a story in there called, I think, The Shelf of Skulls by Matt Baker. And as many of you know, Matt Baker has become one of my favorite artists of the Silver Age. And, you know, I should say the Atom Age. Atom Age and Silver Age. Matt Baker died in 1959. He was born in 21. How old? He was 37 years old. What? Much too young. Much too young. And phenomenal artwork. Yeah. And Matt Baker also did a story in Alarming Tales from Harvey. Yeah, I pulled it out here. This is from Harvey Comics, and it's called, what's it called here? Excuse me, Half Man, Half What? Matt Baker did the artwork on here, and I mean, he did the pencils, and the inks were by Al Williamson. So that's kind of awesome. I mentioned this before, Al Williamson inking Matt Baker. Unbelievable. But, yeah, this is 1952, 100 pages of horror for 25 cents. Can you imagine that? 100 pages of horror for 25 cents. And you get some great artists in here, too. And that's the annual. Here I got Voodoo, #16 from 1954. This has a story about the aftermath of a nuclear war. Damn Mylar. It has a lot of reflection in it, so I'm trying to avoid it as much as I can. Next up is from September 1952, #3. It's got a great cover on there. I don't know who did the cover though. You know, maybe I'll just show it to you down this way. It might work. You know what's in here? That's ginseng that I made in 1994 and I never even opened it yet. Okay, next up is Voodoo #2. It's from 1952. And this has, this covers map by Matt Baker. This reprints the South Sea Girl story. I think from the Seven Seas comic book from I don't know from what year it was, but probably from 1950 or something like that. But this is a reprint of Matt Baker's work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a cover by Matt Baker too. Next I got Voodoo #1. This is from 1952. And this has a South Sea Girl reprint in it also by Matt Baker. And let me see here, have I missed anything here? No. Okay, next is Web of Evil. Those are all the Voodoos I have. This is the Web of Evil #7. And this has a Jack Cole cover. Jack Cole, of course, is the creator of Plastic Man. First appeared in Police Comics in the Golden Age. And Jack Cole, this is from 1953, and in 1958, Jack Cole committed suicide. He shot himself with a rifle. He was working for Playboy at the time, and they found him in a station wagon. I think it's around August or something like that, and with 3 suicide notes. One was to Hugh Hefner, and one was to his wife, and one was to someone else. I don't remember who that was, but the suicide note to his wife was never made public. We don't know what that said in there. That could have revealed, you know, the reason why he killed himself, but we just don't know. Anyway, that was Jack Cole. That's too bad. Died a year before Matt Baker died. Baker died in '59. Jack Cole died in 1958. Here I got. Oh, this is #1. Web of Evil #1. It's also from 1952. And this issue right here has a morphine story by Jack Cole, and this was also used in the Seduction by the Innocent, the book by Frederick Wertham. This was used in that book as an example of the as Wertham's example of juvenile delinquency being caused by stories like this in comic books. And I am sorry about that glare. Next up, I got Web of Mystery. This is number... I think this is number 22. Web of Mystery number... I think it's number 22. Should have taken that sticker off there. These are kind of lower grade. This is number 17 from 1953. Whoopsie poopsie. That about takes care of that pile. Unfortunately, I don't know who did this cover. From Ace Comics, and this is probably in fair condition. I mean, look at the damage on the top over here. On the spine, it's missing pieces, and I think I paid like $10 for this book. $7 or $10. I can't remember. It was either 7 or 10. That sticks in my mind. Then from Ace Comics, I got number 6 from 1951. Let's see, next I got Web of Mystery number 4 from 1951. It's a pretty nice cover. This has this is number 4. I think number 4. I think this has a Gene Colan's artwork in it. It's either number 4 or, gosh, I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure this issue has some artwork by Gene Colan. Or do you say Colin? Next I got a Web of Mystery and I think this is number 1. I'm going to take this one out of the cover. I'm going to take this out of the cover. I mean out of the Mylar. Still has tape on it, which I stopped doing. This got to be number 1. I'm pretty sure. A nicer, higher grade, well, not high grade, but much better grade than the other ones. It's number 1 from 1951. I didn't do any research on this one. I can't tell you. I'm not familiar with who did any of the work in there, if it's even known. You know, sometimes nobody knows who the creators were, who did the stories, who inked them, who penciled them, who wrote them. We just take guesses sometimes, you know, what we think are semi-intelligent guesses, but in this one, I don't know. Next, I showed you this one before. This has an awesome cover. It's from 1951, number 3, Weird Adventures. It's got a cover by Harry Harrison. Harry Harrison is a famous writer. He wrote Make Room, on which the movie Soylent Green is based, starring Charlton Heston and Edward G. Robinson. That book came out in '66, and the movie came out, I don't know when the movie came out anymore. Soylent Green. But look at that, that's incredible. That famous science fiction writer is also a pretty good artist. Next I got Weird Horrors, number 2. From 1952. And I got Weird Terror, this is number 13. Gosh, I don't know the year though. It's pre-code, that's for sure. Put that down there. Take a gander at that one. And I got Weird Thrillers #5. This is from 1952. It's one of these painted covers, and this has I could think you can get more light this way. I'm thinking. This has artwork in it by Bob Powell. Bob Powell did the finished pencils over the rough sketches of Wally Wood and on the Mars Attack cards. He also did some of his own sketches and did the finished pencils over some of his own stuff, but we still don't know every single Mars Attack card from 1962, how to attribute a single one of those cards yet. This is a nice cover here. Tales of the Supernatural #5. This is this has a beautiful painted cover. Look at that. Famous science fiction painter, Kelly Freas or Kelly Freas or Freeze, I don't know. But anyway, you didn't see too many of these back in the 1950s. Yeah, I know that the guy Kelly Freas, Freas, is a famous science fiction illustrator. He won some awards too. And I think he had something to do with NASA and the space program. I think he did some work for them too. I'm not 100% sure on that one now. Next I got from October 1953, Witch's Tales. This Witch's Tales has the cover is not that gruesome, you know, but it has a very disturbing rape story in here. Very disturbing rape story by oh, I don't know. I think the cover is Lee Elias, and I forget who wrote the who did the rape story. I forget what it was called, but I know there's a very disturbing rape story in here. And it also has Bob Powell artwork. Bob Powell also did the 1966 Batman art cards from the TV series, along with Norm Saunders, excuse me. Here's oh, this is a nice cover, but it's in low grade. Witch's Tales #12 from I think it's #12. Pretty sure it's #12 from 1952. Let me take this one out of the, you can see it better. I like this cover. But it's got a lot of issues with the spine. See the damage there, but I just love this cover. You ever notice how all these women in distress, women in bondage, they're always, almost always blonde hair and red dresses that are ripped? I think that the comic companies, they were cutting their own throats. I mean, I can't see how everybody can blame Frederick Wertham and other people like you know, the newspaper editors that wrote against comic books. They can't all be to blame for the demise of the companies. I mean, they were cutting their own throats. Here's another example. Here's Witch's Tales, and this is a Harvey comic book, the company that produced Casper the Friendly Ghost. This is number 9 of Witch's Tales. It's also pre-code. I don't, well, here, I'll take it out of the darn thing. I don't know the year. Let me see here. 52. They got, again, another female in bondage. She's got a ghoul with his hands all around her, ready to throw her into some boiling water, or some kind of a vat with probably oil. You can see the fire brewing on top. You got a male in bondage over there too. Bondage cover. Got a weird male bondage cover. I definitely think that they were cutting their own throats, man. I think there was an issue of Crime Does Not Pay, I don't know, number 2 or number 5, something like that. They had a gangster breaks into this woman's apartment, is in her kitchen, and the stove is on and it's on fire, and he's pushing her face into the stovetop. You know, imagine a 9-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid taking that home to his ma. You know, what the hell. Witch's Tales number 3. It's another bondage cover. Again, red dress, blonde hair, ripped dress. Yeah, that's the last one. I'll get that one out of here. Well, it's going to be a long video here. Holy moly. I didn't want it to be long. Here's number 2. Very low grade. 1951. Probably in fair condition. I don't know. Yeah. This is probably fair condition. She's in bed and she's having all these nightmares. Doesn't know if it's real or fantasy. Oh, this is an Al Avison cover. Al Avison did the was one of the primary Golden Age artists of Captain America comics in the 1940s. He did a lot of the Captain America art, penciling there. Al Avison. Next I got, number 1, 1951, Worlds Beyond. Shelly Moldoff did the cover to this. Shelly Moldoff is the primary creator of Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze. Captain Cold became Mr. Freeze. Shelly Moldoff. I got another copy of this actually here, higher grade. Shelly Moldoff was the ghost artist for Bob Kane for a long time in the 50s and 60s, and for the longest time people were buying that art thinking it was Bob Kane artwork, and Bob Kane never said anything. He just let it go, you know. People were buying the artwork thinking it was him, and it was Shelly Moldoff all along. He was kind of mistreated there. You know, he got the job. I think Shelly Moldoff said in an interview at a convention that Bob Kane basically told him, if you keep your mouth shut, I'll give you the work. Just don't say anything. That, you know, he's actually doing the art. And then when DC changed its policy, and Bob Kane, you know, in the 70s, and Bob Kane no longer had to worry about a ghost artist or anything like that, they got rid of him. They got rid of Shelly Moldoff. Here's number 15, World of Fantasy. This is an Atlas comic, isn't it? Yes, it has to be. World of Fantasy is an Atlas comic from crap, 1958, I think. It's pretty nice, higher grade. Get down here. Getting tired of holding this stuff up again. Here's number 5 from 19. This is 57. Now we're getting towards the end of the stuff what I have here. I got Worlds of Fear, Worlds of Fear number, what's the cover? Number 6. This is another cover. This is a cover by Shelly Moldoff. Trying to get rid of that glare. Then I got Worlds of Fear number 5 from 1952, and again that is also Shelly Moldoff cover art. Man, that's beautiful cover. And next I got Worlds of Fear number 4. Excuse me. 1952. I don't know much about this cover. And the last one is Worlds of Fear number 3 from 1952. And I think I made a note on top here. No, there's no note on top, but I think that this is another Shelly Moldoff cover. Wow! And that's it. That's all of them. I mean, I got more horror stuff around someplace in boxes and stuff, and I think I got some stuff coming in the mail. Probably show those next year. Oh, let me show you this. What I picked up, I think this might be worth picking up. Where the hell's the other cover in here? This is Afterlife with Archie. I think it's a 4-issue miniseries. This just came out on Wednesday. Or no, maybe a week ago, I don't know. But at any rate, I wasn't going to pick this up, but when I saw it in the comic shop, I opened it up and looked at it. It's got that Francesco Francavilla artwork. He did some stuff for Marvel, but I can't recall what it was, but I know he did something for Marvel. And this is actually a serious zombie book out of Archie, and I think it reflects Archie's continuing effort. This is their next in their continuing evolution to bring you different stories that than what we're used to coming from the perennial youth of Riverdale. This is actually a serious zombie book, and you know, it evolves around something happens, you know, or I don't want to give it away. But Jughead, something happens where Jughead becomes devastated. He's devastated because of something that happened, and then it's later revealed that the cause of what happened was Reggie, who was himself, you know, he's in torment, you know, he's agonizing over whether, you know, what to do about it and who to tell. But at any rate, Jughead is so bereaved that he seeks out the help of witchcraft, and the end result of that is even more horrifying. So, and yes, there is some comic relief in here, but it is a serious zombie book, and I think it's worth picking up. I mean, $2.99. You know, his artwork is something that I never. It's hard for me to get used to. His artwork isn't bad at all, and it fits this storyline for the type of story that it is. It fits very well. The artwork fits very well, but it's still something that I'm working on to get used to. You know, when you're used to people like the great artists of the Silver Age, and you know, the great artists of today, you know, even, you know, and I don't know. Here's some more examples of that. The artwork is pretty decent, but it's just, for me, it's taking me a little bit to get used to. And the writing, the story is awesome. Yeah, Frank Cavilla does the artwork, and the story is by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa. Here, take a look. It's definitely worth picking up, man. I mean, $2.99. And then I got all three of the variant covers too. Show you that real quick here. Look at Jughead over there. Hey, I left the book up there. Oh, and then there's this variant. And here's another variant. Wow. Betty never looked so good. And of course the regular cover. And well, I guess that's about it. I also picked up the Sandman Overture. I never got into the Sandman, and I wasn't even going to pick this up because I'm just not into, you know, Neil Gaiman, the Sandman. But I did read a few of the Sandman stories. And I guess the main reason I'm picking this up is because we get to find out just exactly how the Sandman, you know, got into that hourglass of his. This is like a prelude to the everything that happened to the Sandman, you know, that we know. This is going to tell you how that happened. So it's got this variant cover, and I think there's another variant cover, sketch cover, I believe. But, okay, what else I got here? This is turning into a long video, and you know what? I'm gonna have to do another video. I am gonna get. Well, I'll leave that there for now. I got no time to mess around. I picked up a whole case of the new Mars Attacks that came out this week. A case. This is a case. There's 8 boxes to a case. This has to be ordered, but that's the only way. If you buy a whole case, you're gonna get maybe some of the original 1962 cards. They're gonna throw them in there randomly. And this is what the box looks like. This is Mars Attack Invasion. These are all new cards. New cards. The new storyline where the Martians get their revenge. But man, oh man, these cards are... They did a fantastic job. And in every case, if you buy a, in every box of cards, you'll probably get a sketch card like this, an original sketch card, like that. And you'll get some chase cards and alternate, you know, these plastic cards. You also might get a Classic Creator Signature card, which is one of these. Classic Creator Signature card. I opened up 2 boxes, and I got in the second box I got another sketch card. Original sketch card, original art. But let me show you real quickly, and I know this is turning into a long video here, but I gotta show you this. It's just a sample of. I didn't put it together yet, so I don't have the whole complete set of cards to show you because I only opened up 2 boxes, and I guess you need more than. Probably got to open up at least 3 boxes to get a whole. 3 or 4 boxes to get a whole set. But let me show you some of the artwork. Let me get rid of this here so I got more room. And again, I'm sorry this is turning into such a long video. What happened? I dropped a fly. this is better. Just trying to show you. Some of the artwork is reminiscent of the 1962 cards. Man, I mean, that is just fantastic artwork. Let me see if I can get this. And what they're doing, they eliminated for the first time, they're getting rid of the borders. You know, on the original Mars Attack cards, they had borders, and then they had across on the bottom the title of the card, you know, and it took away from the overall effect of the artwork. Here it's all borderless. There's nothing written on the front except Mars Attacks, very small in the corner there, which is just fine. But man, just awesome set of cards. Man, these are the best, and it's all new. These are the best, I think the best set of Mars Attack cards that they put out yet. Let me just go through this real quick and see, just show you some of the ones that are reminiscent of the 1962 cards. Let me pick out some other ones so you get an idea. Oh yeah, here's something. This definitely is, this harkens back to the 1962 original set of Mars Attack cards. Hard to get it focused. That movie was great too, you know. Mars Attacks. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get it to focus real clearly. There you see the Martian Emperor giving a thumbs down, a death sentence to Earth. Oh, look at this one. You know, back in 1962, they couldn't, the Mars Attack cards were censored and they couldn't produce these cards like this. Today, you can do practically anything you want. This card would have most definitely been censored, as many others, as, oh my gosh, this one too here. But just take me back to 1962. That was a great year anyway. Well, for pop culture. Oh yeah, well, a lot of giant insects, you know, and see if I can find some of the other ones. Here's giant insects. Oh, here's one. Terror at the Zoo. You get a Martian getting eaten by these lions. They're biting his head off. Ripping his arms off, biting his head off. Here's another one that would have definitely been censored back in 1962. Oh, I got it upside down, sorry. Women lying in the street, blood flowing from their head. Anyway, a lot of cards. It's a great series. And what's nice about the series is that in the back, you don't have to do any guesswork. It'll tell you right at the bottom there. Let me get it focused here. Right at the bottom there, it'll say artwork. It's not focusing. Well, it tells you the artwork, who it is, right there. Art by Jeff Miracola. Art by Eric Wilkerson. It tells you who did the card, who did the artwork on it. So that's another great thing. And then, of course, it tells you the history of what's going on, you know, the storyline and everything. So that's great. I love these Mars Attack cards. And that's about all I can give you right now. And I think I did a lot here. A lot of stuff here. That damn thing went on too long. I gotta need some tea here. Oh, look at that. Mars Attacks. And I am sorry that this video took so long and that I uploaded it so late, but I got a late start. I couldn't help it. Anyway, don't do anything I wouldn't do, which basically means you can do whatever you want. Anyway, take care and see you next time.